Little Red Riding Hood, originally written by Charles Perrault. Once upon a time, in the middle of a thick forest, stood a small cottage, the home of a pretty little girl known to everyone as Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mummy waved her goodbye at the garden gate, saying, "Grandma is ill. Take her this basket of cakes, but be very careful. Keep to the path through the woods and don't ever stop. That way you will come to no harm." Little Red Riding Hood kissed her mother and ran off. "Don't worry," she said. "I'll run all the way to Grandma's without stopping." Full of good intentions, the little girl made her way through the woods, but she was soon to forget her mother's wise words. What lovely strawberries, and so red! Laying her basket on the ground, Little Red Riding Hood bent over the strawberry plants. "They're nice and ripe and so big. Yummy, delicious. Just another one, and one more. This is the last. Well, this one. The red fruit peeped invisibly through the leaves in the grassy glade, and Little Red Riding Hood ran back and forth popping strawberries into her mouth. Suddenly she remembered her mother, her promise, Grandma and the basket, and hurried back. The basket was still in the grass, and humming to herself, Little Red Riding Hood walked on. The wood became thicker and thicker. Suddenly a yellow butterfly fluttered down through the trees. Little Red Riding Hood started to chase a butterfly. I'll catch you, she said. Suddenly she saw some large daisies in the grass. "Oh, how sweet!" she exclaimed, and thinking of Grandma, she picked a large bunch of flowers. Then 2 wicked eyes were spied on her from behind a tree. A strange rustling in the woods made Little Red Riding Hood's heart thump. Now quite afraid, she said to herself, "I must find the path and run away from here." At last she reached the path again, but her heart leaped into her mouth, and the sound of a gruff voice which said, "Where are you, my pretty girl, all alone in the woods?" "I'm taking Grandma some cakes. She lives at the end of the path," said Little Red Riding Hood in a faint voice. When he heard this, the wolf politely asked, "Does Grandma live by herself?" "Oh, yes," replied Little Red Riding Hood, "and she never opens the door for strangers." "Goodbye. Perhaps we'll see each other later," replied the wolf. Then he loped away, thinking to himself, "I'll gobble the grandmother first, then lie in wait for the grandchild." At last the cottage came in sight. Knock, knock, the wolf rapped on the door. "Who's there?" cried Grandma from her bed. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I've brought you some cakes because you're ill," replied the wolf, trying hard to hide his gruff voice. "Lift the latch and come in," said Grandma, unaware of anything amiss, till a horrible shadow appeared on the wall. Poor Grandma, for in one bound the wolf leapt across the room, and in a single mouthful swallowed the old lady. Soon after, Little Red Riding Hood tapped on the door. "Grandma, can I come in?" she called. Now the wolf put on the old lady's shawl and cap and slipped into the bed. Trying to imitate Grandma's quavering little voice, he replied, "Open the latch and come in." "What a deep voice you have," said the little girl in surprise. "The better to greet you with," said the wolf. "Goodness, what big eyes you have, the better to see you with. And what big hands you have," exclaimed Little Red Riding Hood, stepping over to the bed. "The better to hug you with," said the wolf. "What a big mouth you have," the little girl murmured in a weak voice. "The better to eat you with," growled the wolf, and jumping out of bed, he swallowed her up too. Then with the fat, full tummy, he fell fast asleep. In the meantime, a hunter had emerged from the wood, and on noticing the cottage, he decided to stop and ask for a drink. He had spent a lot of time trying to catch a large wolf that had been terrorizing the neighborhood.